GREVIOUSLY.com and click on contests.
I think I just happen to be saying what a whole lot of people think but don't have a chance to say themselves. That's why they call me a dangerous man. Somebody's trying to say this stuff.
I would say that Rush should be very, very happy with the outpouring of support for him. And in many ways, he would be shocked by it. People said he was a very regular guy. He was a regular guy, but he was utterly inquisitive, curious all the time. He had a huge library in his home. He read the great philosophers. This is a man who never went to college, and he didn't need to go to college. He exchanged over the years many emails, lots of discussion about various issues. He became an expert on the Constitution, the history of the nation, all self-taught. He was as kind could be. You know, early on, it's a wonderful staff. Snurredly, you could see the jokester Cookie, Kit Carson, who passed away, and that upset him, all of us, greatly. And I would start to send him early on, you know, some issues on the Constitution, independent councils, the Clinton years. And finally, he tells Cookie, who is Kathleen Gleason, a wonderful lady who did his audio, and I want to talk to this guy directly. So he would talk to me, and then he gave me his email, and then and he appointed me the director of his legal division, F. Lee Levin. Of course, he didn't have a legal division, but that's the way he was. And wanted to know about my kids. Later, wanted to know about the grandkids. Had us to his house. Was a tremendous gentleman and host, and he smiled, he laughed, he was also serious. He was very, very worried, particularly now, about the future of the country. And I think about all these things. And I think, what was it that attracted him to Donald Trump? You know, a lot of us eventually were attracted, but he was attracted early on, and I think it's this. Trump was an outsider. Trump was rejected by the elites. They said Trump couldn't succeed. They all said the same thing about Rush. And I think Rush identified with that in many respects. And also, I think Rush felt, why should we be controlled and hindered by what the left or by what the mainstream media tell us what's okay, what language we can use, what we can discuss. This is America. We are free human individuals, human beings. And he didn't think it was terribly controversy to be an old-time defender of the country. He was an absolute patriot. He gave mounds and mounds of money to different causes without making a big fuss about it. He would help out individuals without making a big fuss about it. Even his later books, he and Catherine, with Liberty and Paul Revere and these folks, in order to reach out to young people, he really felt that the country, well, he thought it was more than worth saving. And when I think of Rush, generally, I worked for Reagan too, and I knew Reagan. I campaigned for him in 76 and 80. I've known some very, very great people. And Rush Limbaugh, he's not at the top, he's near the top of the greatest people I've ever known. I think he's in the category, as Newton said, of a Reagan, of a Bill Buckley, of a Milton Friedman. He was not just a broadcaster, he was an activist. He had his own way of encouraging people to do certain things. He was, to some people, a fatherly figure, to some people, a brotherly figure, to some people, like a son. But he was always good old Rush. We could always rely on Rush. And the worse things got, the more we wanted to tune in and listen to what Rush had to say. What is Rush's take on this? That's what everybody wanted to know. What is Rush's take? I'll tell you, he encouraged me to get into radio, as Hannity did. I didn't really want to get into radio or anything. And I remember once he said he wanted me to sub. I said, well, I don't know how to do it. He said, just do it. You'll do great. So he'll throw you in the water, you know. And that's a big audience. Just do it. And I said to him, when I first started out on radio, what can I possibly say after you speak and Hannity speaks, then it's my turn? And he said, Mark, they've heard me, they've heard Hannity, but they haven't heard you. But this is the kind of guy he was. He didn't say, only listen to me, I'm the best, even though he was.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hands down. Sean will tell you, I'll tell you, absolutely the best. But he didn't even look at himself the way, people would listen to him, about a loan from God and one on touch. This was all tongue-in-cheek stuff. He was hilarious in person and a great guy.
Yeah, he had a great sort of self-deprecating sense of humor that I think people misinterpret sometimes with, the excellence in broadcasting and talent on loan from God and all of that. It was very funny. I always thought that he had a great sense of humor and it was hilarious, and he was generous with people and different, even, people don't think this, but, he liked to hear people's different opinions about things. Before I let you go, you just said something a moment ago. You said, because I always think of him as such a great optimist and a big picture observer of America and the future. You said he was worried right now. Can you talk about that?
He was an optimist, but he wasn't a Pollyanna. That is, he can see the rising tyranny. He's concerned about all these things. The long picture, yes, he's an optimist. We're Americans. But he also understood in order to succeed, we had to fight. We had free will. And, he would encourage people to get involved. On election day, he would encourage people to vote. He would. It's very interesting. He was able to do something I'm certainly not able to do, which is he was able to kind of back individuals against other individuals without offending the people he didn't back. Like in the Republican Party, I offend everybody apparently. But you either born with that or you're not. He had a fantastic nature, but he was. It is. And so many are concerned about the future of the country. Look, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a mind reader, but I feel certain he would say, particularly the young people today, defend your country, fight for your country, speak out in smart ways, learn the true history of your country.
I love you, Raj.
Many men and women have come before and died for this country. Don't be devoured by the neo-statist, neo-Marxist left. He would want others to carry the flag. He knew the world didn't end with him, as we all know the world doesn't end with each of us. And he would want us all to carry on, to save this great country and defend this great country. I'm telling you, I know that for sure. And he will be grievously missed.
Mark, thank you so much. I'm so glad that he encouraged you to begin your radio career, and Sean Hannity encouraged it. You're such a great voice for all of us on the Constitution and on history and on things that really matter. So I appreciate you being here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You can thank him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. So joining me now is talk radio host Dana Lash. She joins us by